And we are recording.
Welcome to Maximum Dakka Reloaded, the Maximum Dakka podcast.
I like Reloaded. I do like Reloaded.
It fits our theme real well.
Yeah, pretty well. So for everybody that's just seeing this will be our very first video. This will go on YouTube later on tonight. Technically, we are filming our third game right after this. Welcome to Maximum Dakka, guys. It's a brand new channel. Sitting to my left is Mr. Will.
Howdy.
And Cal.
Hello.
Mr. Phil.
Hello.
And I'm Caleb.
And
Sorry, I took that from you.
You're fine.
My bad.
And
that's James.
I'm James, yes. Yeah, unfortunately.
Wait, what?
Yeah, unfortunately. I am James, unfortunately.
Listen, if anything, self-deprecation is all of our strong suits. So
Yeah,
we're really good at
much
that.
deserved.
I'm terrible at it.
Let us help you.
Yeah. So, this is our channel, guys. Welcome. First things first, we're probably going to be airing a lot of BattleTech stuff, some battle reports, and a lot of MechWarrior Destiny because everybody at this table, I think, is in love with it. I know I'm in love with it.
That's fair to say. Yeah,
That's pretty fair.
I'm incredibly attracted to it, but haven't totally committed yet.
Yeah.
He's got a crush on it.
Well, you know, I mean, daddy.
Low-key fetish.
He's got, do they
Don't
call
make
it
it weird,
daddy
man.
issues or
Yeah.
mommy issues?
Oh, come on.
One and the same.
One in the same. But yeah, so we're going to be doing a lot of Destiny. We've got a tabletop game campaign going called The Broken Sword. And that'll be airing on December 3rd.
October
3rd.
Good God.
There's a reason
There
for October
is
3rd,
now
yeah.
an event, a Facebook page, and a Twitter, all at the Maximum Dakka. You can get to our webpage by going to maxdakka.com.
Yep. And that should take you straight to the YouTube
That
page.
takes you right to the YouTube page, and then in the bio, we'll have the Facebook and Twitter linked as well.
Yeah, don't
At
expect
some
that
point.
to ever be anything other than just a link to the YouTube page.
No, it's not going to be anything other than a link to the YouTube page.
Yeah.
If the content ever does grow on you and you would like to help facilitate our gaming experience that we bring you, you could also visit our Patreon through there,
That's
I
true.
believe as well, right?
Yep.
We need a link tree.
Do we need a link tree? Should we diagram it out?
We need a link tree.
Phil, bring
That's
in
what all the
whiteboard.
popular,
All the popular content creators have a link tree.
very, very popular content creators.
I don't know what a link tree is.
It's okay. I'll educate you later.
Sounds...
Got a couple links for you on a tree.
Is that oddly... It sounds like sex toy stuff.
I was thinking like late 90s HTML, but okay.
Like late 90s, early Skinamax. It's blurry and because your dad has his own satellite dish kind of thing.
Is that what our eventual
This
Not-
sounds so
Is that what our
specific.
eventual trailer is going to be? Is
I'm
we're
not.
Gonna,
You're
it's
gonna
going to be
steal
somebody
your neighbor's
flipping through
cable?
channels
Like-
and they hit a Skinamax and they go right to the Maximum Dakka
Yeah.
intro.
Yeah,
I like it.
absolutely. But I'm not speaking from experience on that at all.
Clearly.
Quick at the back.
God damn it. So, other than BattleTech, though, there are some other plans. I will run at some point a D&D campaign, but to be determined. BattleTech for the near future and other games. Some of us will probably stream on occasion, I would assume. It'll be random. There won't be a set time
Yeah.
for anybody to stream. It'll just be like, I don't have shit to do tonight, so I'll just stream for people kind of thing. But other than that, this is us. Welcome to our channel.
Yeah.
So did you guys get your Wave 2 stuff yet?
I did. Cal, did you?
I also
God
did.
damn it. You guys. I should have expected that.
I didn't order anything because I'm a plebe, and I wanted to wait for these guys to get what they got. So
I will say Will's got it first. I was not as big a whale as most other people, but still pretty big. But some other people, I think, what pack did you get?
I don't even remember what package I got from the Kickstarter. I know I got like a crap ton of add-ons, so probably the most interesting thing I got was the initiative deck. I just wanted to see kind of how that worked out. It actually looks really interesting. I'm
Oh, yeah?
interested. I'm interested in like running a game and maybe recording one using that.
Cool.
But we'll talk a little more about that later.
Does
but,
it work for Alpha Strike? I mean, we can talk about it right now.
Oh yeah.
I was just saying, I thought it's
anything you
CBT
will-
and Alpha Strike. Anything
Yeah,
that has
anything
initiative,
that
right?
has initiative, you can use that deck. Essentially, how
Maybe
it
we
works,
get that to Cal to use for Destiny.
Or maybe when we record one of our Battle Force games, right, James?
What's Battle Force?
Don't.
Yeah,
Can we
what
can we
is
just
Battle Force, Cal?
Can we just
Well-
erase that 15 seconds and just
No.
Oh, come on. You're siding with him on it now?
no? Jokes aside, I've never played Battle Force, and so I don't really know what all the hate's about. But I have heard a lot of it, so I'm interested in jumping into it just for the sake of seeing if it's really that bad.
If I recall, is similar to Classic, but way more.
Yeah, it's like
If Alpha Strike
Man, there's
like
really not-
streamlines the rules, Battle Force streamlines Alpha Strike.
yeah, that, and it's more like think like World War One miniatures games where they've got just a bunch of miniatures and you're just taking squads off the board
Yeah,
essentially.
Gotcha.
It's just for mass scale stuff and it doesn't work very well.
Are the rules simplified? I mean, or is it kind of like Star Wars Armada, where like it does actually have rules with some level of
There-
complexity?
There is a level of complexity to it, but it's shallow. I don't know. You'd have to play it in order for me to
Oh, and you haven't?
properly describe it.
I mean, just flashing back though, I mean, if we played large game Alpha Strikes like me and Caleb did, I mean, honestly, it's effective. It does take a lot longer. I mean, our game averaged 3 hours.
Yeah, but
so
that's-
But we were playing-
for a full company plus.
Still
So
less than a game of 4-on-4 Total Warfare if you're using all
yeah.
the rules.
not a chance.
On
Yeah.
the subject of the stuff that you guys got, the second
Wave 2 stuff?
Wave 2 stuff. Yes, Wave. That's what I was looking for. Did either of you get the box that had the typo?
Yeah, I got
You got
2
that.
of them. Yeah.
Wait, what?
2 of them?
Yeah, one of the boxes has a typo on it. I
Does
think
it?
it's
Yeah. They just
It's,
spelled a couple
uh,
things or missed a letter on a couple of
it's a
things.
Comstar. No, it's not Comstar. It's
Comstar would never mess up their stuff.
I don't remember exactly which one it is, but I know I have 2 of them. I think
I
it's
don't
the
agree with that.
Direct Fire Lance.
Mm.
It's like a Erect Fire Lance.
It's an erect fire lance. It's a direct fire lance.
I think so. It was something real bad.
That sounds
Was there?
That
it was
sounds-
like Freudian. It was like a
Yeah.
Freudian error
that sounds
on
awesome.
It was a lance that was missing the D.
Ah,
Yeah. The typos that they had, it
Unfortunate.
wasn't anything like crazy. It was just like
Yeah.
a missing letter on the boxes that they had. So
That
Oh, well.
honestly, I've noticed that a lot. Like I've been trying to actually go through the Alpha Strike Commander's Edition like cover to cover, and I keep running into weird stuff like that. It just seems to be a common thing.
It's
I don't know.
I will say that it was common in the other one too. Like there's a bunch of mistypes and some stuff. I think that's
Well, and the other thing too, like you got to realize when Alpha Strike came out, like Catalyst wasn't that big.
Yeah,
Right.
No,
I mean, it was, I mean, I think there was a lot of free work that was done on that.
Yep.
And that was during an era of BattleTech where we're like, well, we're lucky to get literally anything at this point.
And I should also preface, like, I don't want to come off like I'm ungrateful or being a dick or anything. Like, I love Alpha Strike, and I'm really glad that I do have the Commander's Edition book. Just something I noticed is all. So
Yeah.
the writer's keyboard is just going out.
it's fine.
Hey, what were some of your favorite sculpts that you've seen so far? I know we had talked about doing an unboxing video at some point.
Yeah.
but I know that.
well,
Patience was-
I've only I've only unboxed the boxes that I actually have 2 of, so that we can still unbox the ones that I have
Right.
2 of.
You showed me that stalker, and that stalker
Yeah, the
is definitely.
stalker's freaking beautiful.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful sculpt.
I wasn't nearly as impressed with the longbow. I like some of the printed sculpts that we've come across for longbow. I think those were MWO.
Yeah.
sculpts.
Well,
Really?
those were done by Ion Raptor.
Yeah. Well, I just on the longbow the missile tube covers on the longbow they tuck it back, and reasonably so that it doesn't easily pop off.
Yeah.
And the top of the radar canopy looks a lot thicker and substantial comparatively, but I just like the 2 giant tube covers coming all the way up.
Okay.
It just looks really cool.
See,
and
I agree. I like it. I like what you like about that as well. But I actually really like the new longbow sculpt.
Yeah, the new sculpt
I
is
think it's
definitely
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
The Stalker was my favorite, and then the new Atlas was actually very impressive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The new Atlas is really cool.
Just before everyone got together today, I saw the Black Knight and the Marauder 2C. Marauder 2C is very, very imposing, and the Supernova. I think I really like the Supernova the best out of the ones you showed me tonight.
It's hard for me to say which new sculpt is. What I really wish they would have done though, is if you'll notice on like the longbow or any of that in that Firelands, they have the exposed missile heads.
Mm-hmm.
Those, while I get it, it's impractical, but they just look so much cooler whenever you paint the whole model and then you
You
Do the
tip
red,
each,
yeah.
tip
Tip
each
each
one.
tip,
Yeah.
mhm.
yeah, it just looks a lot better. I
did
wish
that.
they would have done the exposed missile heads on all of their models, but they didn't.
I did that whenever they had the catapult come out for the earlier boxes stuff. So I mean, it was very, very tedious to tag 40 missiles. So.
But as far as
Worth
my like favorite sculpt, it's a throw up between that new Supernova and the Crusader. The Crusader sculpt is so good.
Oh my gosh, the Crusader sculpt fixes everything
Yeah, especially
about the Crusader.
I mean, it gives it that armored VF1J look that
It's not too unsimilar to one of the ones that I came across of a new STL where the guy kind of like redid the shoulder pads, and he had the missile packs on the shoulder pads, but the arms still had some stuff. I really like that look, and this new Crusader definitely has that look. I like the little horn on this new one though.
Yeah. And it looks a lot better once you get it painted, which I painted that one.
Yeah, it looks really good.
But the new Supernova it looks like they took a MechWarrior 4 Supernova and a MWO Supernova, and they smashed them together, and they had a baby, and they gave them the best of both worlds. It's a beautiful sculpt.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry, I know you're
really
being
cool.
serious right now, but you said Snoopernova.
He did say
And now I'm
Snoopernova.
just
Did I
think
say Snoopernova?
you said Snoopernova.
Supernova.
And now I'm just thinking of
Like painting one like Snoopy.
like painting one with like pot leaves and I don't know. My
Snoop
stupid.
Nova.
Took it a different
Just take out
direction.
just take out the Snoop Nova.
Yeah.
It's the dog Snoop Dogg Nova, Supernova.
Nope, just Snoop
Yeah,
Nova.
yeah, Snoop Nova. Yeah.
The Rhino, the new Stone Rhino
looks cool.
really cool. I know it's not practical still, but
No,
for,
it's not a practical mech at all.
Let's not speak ill of clan mechs. Okay.
it's
come
not, I mean, but and it's not a. I don't think it's a bad mech.
At least it
from
doesn't
looking
have
at
at least it doesn't have a partial wing.
That's true.
What happened?
What happened?
Not cool, dude.
Well,
I see where you're going
it's
with
almost
that.
like
No,
one clan was like, every mech we make from now on is gonna have a partial wing, and then they got caught in a turkey shoot.
You were saying, Phil?
Yes.
Let's stay on topic tonight, okay?
he-
It
he
increases your jump distance. You can get a lot.
Sure,
get a lot farther.
sure.
He beat me to it.
Have you ever tried to shoot somebody with a parachute on? It's kind of the same thing.
Hey, thanks though.
Hey, does anybody have any spare urban mechs? I want to. I was kind
don't.
of looking at trying to do an urban mech lamb conversion.
Ooh, no,
No, nobody.
don't have one for that.
No.
What is this, like shit on Cal tonight?
Just 3D print an urban mech with like a hang glider just on it.
Go get a kite and tape it to a trash can. There you go.
Yeah.
Same difference.
Yeah.
Sounds like something Jade Falcon would do.
Only with the 2C though.
That's enough. That's enough out of you.
They did do it to the Crimson Hawks.
Yeah, Capellans, fucking Capellans. Anyway,
What were you saying now?
So what about you? What was your favorite sculpt pull?
See, I feel kind of bad. I'm broke, so I don't think I got as much as like any of you guys as far as models went. I got like one or two of the new Clan Star sculpts, and then one of the Inner Sphere ones. So, I'm not really sure.
which ones
I-
did you get?
Let me see. I got the Clan Command Star. I will say the Daishi looks really nice, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Uh,
Is it the same as the other box?
Yeah,
Like
this is
the-
Wave
like-
1 stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you put all your stuff on Wave 2, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't get in until I didn't even know the Kickstarter was a thing until after Wave 1 had shipped. So,
Fair enough.
But-
I spent most of my money in my Wave 2 box on like useless trinkets, honestly.
Mhm.
So, not a lot of actual models, but
Well, so you were talking about that initiative deck.
Yeah.
How exactly does that work? Because like,
So from what I can tell, it's like a standard playing card deck basically, but it has 5 suits instead of 4, one for each of the 5 great houses. And it has ace through 10, and then I'm trying to remember. I think it's instead of Jack, Queen, King, it's Mech Warrior, Duke, Star Lord, or Mech Warrior, Duke, Lord, and then like the Jokers are like Star Lords. And so a lower number gives you a worse initiative, but every one of those cards has like a special ability that you can use your card, and you can hold on to it and use that ability anytime you want to, and then draw a new one from the initiative deck. So you can try and kind of gamble holding onto a low card and like keeping a worse initiative throughout the game for the chance to use a better ability. And like as the abilities get progressively worse, your initiative gets better. So it kind of
Balances.
there's an attempt
that's
to balance
cool.
it out a little bit there. So like all of the suits, all of the 2s have transmission jam, which basically just nullifies anyone else's card. So objectively, probably one of the best ones to have, which is why it's a 2, which is a crap initiative.
Right.
So I think it's really interesting. What's cool to me is that all of the 5 different suits are kind of geared towards different play styles. And I know this is blasphemy to say this. I'm legitimately interested in playing with the Lao deck. Because most of their abilities have to do with screwing over everybody else.
yeah,
How
sounds,
appropriate.
Yeah.
sounds right.
So I just think it'd be really fun to like just test it out. So and there's
Yeah.
plenty of rules to you can use just the card numbers themselves and like deal them out each turn and then use that instead of a dice roll. You can play with those special abilities, which allows you to like hold on to your initiative card until you use that ability or until it gets discarded in some other way.
Cool.
You can deal it out by just shuffling the whole deck together, or you can hand a specific suit to a specific person who wants to play for a specific house. There's a lot of possibilities for it. I think it's really interesting. So
That does
I don't
sound
know.
really cool.
yeah,
It's pretty cool. I'm definitely in on something like that.
Yeah, I'd be worth trying it out.
Though, probably not the Lao deck, because you probably just open it up and there'd just be scraps of cards in there. Because problem kills.
The 2 is just a nuke.
Well, yeah, the problem is
No, they don't-
Instant war crimes.
they don't have a Word of Blake deck actually, not yet.
That's
at
a
least.
shame because we should be seeing that.
It's not a nuke, I promise. What is it? Oh, this gift? Oh,
It's a tactical
just
warhead.
kidding. It's nukes.
just kidding.
What's behind door number 1? It's nukes.
Fucking word of Blake. Rocks fall, everybody dies.
Yeah.
That's some
Unfortunate.
twisted stuff.
Did
I have a lot of word of Blake mechs right now that I need to put together.
Yeah, you do. You do. That's right.
We never did get around to that
No,
kind
we
of game,
didn't.
but
We'll have to eventually.
someday,
You know.
yeah. I did buy all 6 of the specialized word of Blake mechs, and they're actually really cool builds. They're just annoying like regular Iron Winds builds are, which are
Yeah.
just they're heavy. You have to use a lot of stabilizing material.
Mm-hmm.
Like not to crap on them, but I mean, there are okay. Start off with a compliment. There are some models that Ironwind Metals has that are just awesome.
There are some
And
amazing models. Look
I'm
at that
so happy
Vulpix
that they're
the
metal.
Vulpish.
Vulpus.
The
Vulpus,
yeah.
that's right. The Vulpus that James
Yeah.
painted. I mean,
Yep.
that's just a nasty looking mech,
Yeah,
and it looks so good. And then you have models like
the Avalanche.
the Avalanche. I would even say some of their regular big time models are kind of lacking. I don't like their awesomes.
Well, so some of those, are the older.
Ralparthus sculpt.
Right.
Yeah. And the times have changed for a lot of players, at least, for some of the younger players. I'm not saying I'm a younger player, but I'm certainly not an older player, so
Calm down there, Grandpa.
The Atlas does not float my boat, let me tell you. The long skinny legged Atlas.
But then you get ones like the Lament and
the
the
Lament.
Templar
Pulpus.
3.
The
Templar
Templar
3 is one of my
3.
all-time
Those all
favorites.
look
Yeah.
like exceptionally good. That Atlas 3 that you have is a freaking fine looking mech.
Yeah,
The Atlas 2 is pretty cool too.
Most of the newer sculpts that they've done. Now there are some of those newer ones that they copied straight from the Dark Age tabletop game, like the Cygnus, that are like
just like a freaking brick of
they're
metal.
they're like it's a 65-ton mech, but there's more metal there than
The Bane.
Yeah.
The Bane's a perfect example.
Bane I have,
it's a
yeah.
100-ton mech, but it is literally all 100 tons of that is literally in the top heavy of of the mech. It doesn't even barely fit on a standard 6mm base. So.
Yeah, and it's not even just the fact that like you have like bricks of metal. There's also the idea of scale. Scale's always been an issue. I mean, obviously Catalyst has tried to fix that with these sculpts because they're all like what two some prime number, I don't know.
86.
Oh, is it
1
like,
and 286?
Yeah, and that's cool to finally like get a standard, But when you're looking at something like a 90-ton mech and it's next to a 65-ton mech, and that 65-ton mech is like that compared to the 95-tonner, you're kind of like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
It's like the 25th anniversary box, and then like the updated version of that same box that they released several years ago. You pull a catapult from that one. I know I'm talking about catapults again. Sorry. You pull a catapult from that one, and then you pull one of the new catapult sculpts from Catalyst, and it's like half the size of the new one.
Oh.
It's so
Dark Age mech flashbacks. I did the comparison on just any of them, and I mean
they're massive.
The size is just enormous. There's just no comparison. Like the light mechs are the size of assault mechs in this game, like and everything else. So.
I was gonna say you brought out your box of Dark Age stuff because I sold all
the
mine,
Marauder.
like,
The
so
Marauder
many years
2C
ago,
is literally bigger than some of the buildings on this table right now.
Yeah,
It's so crazy.
I sold my Dark Age clicks like years ago, like just almost a decade ago, and I hadn't actually seen the Dark Age mechs in person, been able to like touch and hold them and smell and taste them. And a couple months ago, Phil brought out his box of Dark Age stuff, and
that
they
last
were just
one bothered me.
massive. Did it really bother you?
Why would you be putting them in your mouth? That'd be the real question.
That's none of your business. Stay out of my personal affairs. But yeah, some of them were just like so damn big, and I was like, whoa, I don't remember.
At least at least out of the ones that did come out, the Ares were probably appropriately sized.
I love the Ares. I think the Ares is a cool looking mech. I don't care about its viability.
Well, I mean, there are mechs that look well. There is a mech that looks just like the Ares that is pretty viable.
Yeah. Are you talking about the
Triskelion?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's plenty of quadromechs that look okay too. Any of those spiders? Hey, come on, they're there. They exist. Acknowledge them.
They're
What?
canon.
Notice me, senpai.
Notice me. Notice me.
Oh, like the Goliath? You don't like the Goliath?
Or the spider.
No.
Oh, come on.
No.
The spider. Well, granted,
Oh man, I was
the
totally gonna
Goliath.
put you in a Goliath.
The
in this
Goliath
game.
is just an off-branded AT-AT. Let's be realistic.
If you put one on the board,
But the spider looks really cool. I mean, for a quad.
It's the Kmart AT-AT.
It is. No, Kmart is that's.
I mean, if we're gonna,
It's like the Aldi's AT-AT. Like Kmart's giving them way too much credit.
Oh, that's.
Although,
Hey,
granted,
guys,
I want to
hey.
know that I do love Aldi's. So.
Yeah.
Aldi's is awesome. If we're really getting into
Sponsor
it, one,
us.
Aldi, there's no S.
Oh, you're right.
Two,
You're right. I'm sorry.
It's a hidden S. Everybody says it, but it's not there.
Like
It's the opposite of a silent letter. It's a hidden letter.
it's like Adidas.
Yeah,
Adidas.
Adidas. The
Is it
bug
Adidas?
mechs
Oh,
are
okay.
the
Jesus
Kmart
Christ. I was about to be like, what
ATSTs,
the?
chicken walkers. Every time I see a bug mech, that's the only thing I can think
Like a
of.
locust or a cicada.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they are.
Hey,
Now,
I want to know. Reverse legs are better than regular.
Yeah, man.
I agree.
True.
I will say one of my favorite like designs for a mech in general is definitely like it's Jihad era, the Raptor II.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that already, actually.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to hammer on that again. But have you
Well,
seen like?
that's not gonna see the light of day, so hammer on it away.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah, go
freaking
for
love
it.
the Raptor 2. I guess I'll talk again about like we're on the topic of clicks again. I have inherited from a friend of mine. It was like a special edition model that they handed out at cons or something like that. But the Raptor 2 is known for being one of the mechs that uses the mimetic armor system, basically like active camouflage.
It's LPS.
Yeah,
it's the
it's the
LPS.
LPS. Yeah, we talked about that last time too.
Yeah,
The cool thing is
light
that Gen
Light
Con
polarization system, that's right.
Yeah, the Gen Con exclusive, because that's what it was. It was
Yeah.
Gen Con in like 2002 or something like that. Something really awkwardly early. But it's all clear.
Yeah.
And
I freaking love that thing. It looks so cool.
I did look one up on eBay. They're like $100.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're expensive. So I need to actually, because we had talked about attempting to run an old school Dark Age clicks
Yeah,
game.
we need to do one
Just
just so everybody sees
I'm
how-
worried about it, and the table size actually wouldn't be that big an issue because their speeds are a lot less in that game. But I need to message a friend of mine named Brian and see if he still has all of his and if he's willing to either give or sell them to me, because he had probably as equal or more of a collection, because I gave him all my old stuff a long time ago, and then he got a bunch of other stuff, and he had probably a good 75% of the entirety of all Dark Age.
Hey man, if you don't want to purchase all of it, if he's willing to.
I mean, I probably would.
Okay.
Sorry, bud.
That's all right. That's all right. No,
there was
but I would
a
totally
lot
love to
of there was a
play
lot of
another
cool
one.
sculpts, and
Yeah.
the vehicles and VTOLs in there were so well executed compared to
Absolutely.
some of the other things. I mean, granted, they had garbage vehicles for
Yeah.
things like, ooh, what am I gonna do with this salvage truck? Ooh, I can repair one click a turn. Yeah, that's great for when I'm dealing out 6-7 damage a slap, but you know.
You just said like they had some great looking sculpts, but one of my favorite awkward memories when we were at a game shop, Caleb had a Battle Master and he was using it for the paint scheme because he wanted to duplicate the camo scheme on it.
Oh, yeah.
So
And James
I think that was
just
like the
walked by
second
and
time
he's
I
like-
met you.
Yeah, I know. James walks by Caleb and he looks at it, he's like, "That is the worst fucking looking Battle Master I've ever seen."
Oh, my God.
it was for the paint scheme, and that funny enough,
Sorry.
that
The paint
that
scheme.
that Battle Master I
I
remember
hate
because
that
it was a white and blue style mech, and it had a gold base, which means that one was actually probably worth money still.
I think I won it as like a prize for winning like a Friday night tournament or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
I hate that Dark Age sculpt so much because
You
I love the Battle Master so much, and then like they
then
turn
that
around,
comes along.
they do that too, and I'm like, oh.
Hey,
God,
it's not as bad as the
why?
Solaris 7 Atlas. Like
Oh,
that
yeah.
one, while it was
Yeah.
supposed to look cool, it looked really awkward because
Is
it
that
was
the one? Is that the one that's Mad Max? As
Yeah,
Atlas
well,
with like
And the Mad
Yeah.
Max part isn't bad, but he has super skinny legs and arms, and this just really fat head, and it's like, ooh, somebody could have tried a little bit harder because the rest, like the Atlas, the other Atlas, like the Atlas 3, all those looked really good, and that one did not.
Well, they were trying to keep it more towards the
Piecemeal.
old,
Yeah.
the old. Was it Foose that drew that? Was it a loose Foose, whatever the fuck his name was?
I don't even remember who you're talking about.
The
honestly.
one of the original 3025 BattleTech artists.
Oh, okay.
I think he did like most of the art in like the technical readout 3025.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
I think if you look down there, they're all signed by. I think it's loose. I think it's LOOSE.
Okay.
But yeah, I think they were trying to keep it closer to the original artwork, which the original artwork was not very good.
There's a mech that I found that doesn't exist. It was made for Dark Age, and it's the Jackalope. It's a light. I didn't ever see one, but I thought that was kind of a cool mech.
I thought the rules of the game were no Sarna.
We're not in
We're not
game.
playing. We're podcasting.
All right.
Not Sarna. It's not
But-
Sarna, so fuck off. How about that?
Speaking of Sarna, Speaking of Sarna, I remember now. The whole point we were talking about this is because I was going to mention like the Raptor 2 looks like fly as hell.
Yeah.
If you want to see like a fugly looking mech, go to Sarna right now. Look up the Raptor 1. That thing is literally like a shovelware ATST. It's bad.
Yeah.
Well,
Are there some models of the Flea that that are
Oh,
kinda
the
like
same
that.
thing.
The
Yeah,
flea,
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the flea is
a freaking
definitely an ATST.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jackalope, so it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
Is it
canine
okay?
mech.
That's a very ugly mech.
What was
Yeah.
the art?
Let's
Yeah,
have- let's
yeah,
have a
that's
gander of
exactly
that.
the art of it too.
Ah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not going to pick up on any of the cameras. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Look how ugly that is. Oh, boy.
Somebody's feelings are getting hurt right now.
Raptor.
Is that a
if you like
copyrighted?
Raptor
Hold on. Is
yeah.
that a
I hate
copyrighted
you.
image? Are we allowed to show that?
I don't know.
It's
Well,
public. It's
I don't
public
know.
space.
Channel's not gonna be
so-
monetized anyway, so fuck them.
All right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Fuck them if they can't take a joke. God.
Let it go on record saying that James said that, not any of us.
Yep, that's true.
James's views and opinions are of his own.
They're my own.
Sue us? No, don't really.
Please don't sue us.
Genuinely.
Please don't. We're already poor.
For legal reasons. I'm not. I'm serious.
Speaking of views and opinions, so one of the things I know we all talked about at one point how we got into BattleTech, but
Mhm.
if we picked up a book today from the BattleTech series, what do you think would be the easiest book for somebody who's not familiar with BattleTech today to pick up and get into the universe? I know that one of the books I started with was one of the Great Death Legion series, which was Decision at Thunder Rift.
Mhm.
And while some things in the universe weren't totally fine-tuned, as me and you had talked about off-cam, I found it to be kind of great and a good intro. Although there's some very anime plot devices happening there.
What you
And-
mean you don't believe that a locust can hold off an entire company of Kurita mechs by itself by hiding behind a rock and overheating?
Okay, I want to point out.
Because I've done it.
She's
With one medium
she's
laser.
yeah with one medium. They had, okay,
And two
granted
machine guns.
they had other ground forces with
Yeah.
anti-mech weapons,
yeah.
but still
Yeah.
against things like Shadow Hawks and other things.
Mhm.
It's very improbable, but whatever.
It was a good book.
It was a good book.
Or the fact that they're like, oh, it's a Phoenix Hawk, it's a super heavy mech.
Hey, I
No,
mean,
But
again,
you can't
they
just
didn't.
spread it to that.
they
book
didn't
because
Yeah. Well, that
Stackpole was doing the space magic as well before,
Yeah.
like hinting towards there's space magic here, but we're not going to just come out and say there is space magic because behind the scenes we haven't really decided if we want to
Yeah.
do space magic yet.
yeah. Well, decision.
So-
I would
Spoiler, they didn't.
Yeah, spoiler alert, everyone.
I
They
wouldn't
didn't.
jump somebody. I would not jump somebody into BattleTech at
Decision Thunder Rift.
Decision at Thunder Rift.
What would you do instead then?
If I had to nail one down,
Don't say Hour of the Wolf.
Do you want to be bored out of your mind?
Well, it's just
Easy.
I will say I read a couple of the first pages as
Yeah.
for one of the reading prompts. It was just like there's so much to chew through in just that like first 5 pages. You don't know what's going on. You have to know a lot of pretextual information about the things that's happened up to that point. And so as the first book, I wouldn't recommend Hour of the Wolf.
look,
So-
I totally agree with you on that.
look, that was a very good author given Star Wars to deal with. And what they wanted was a Clone Wars out of that, and what they got was was not Clone Wars. I mean, as much as I like Perdo, he's not
What's
Dave,
that? What's
he's not
that
Dave
college
Filoni.
humor spoof of Star Wars that they did?
Oh, yeah, I don't remember what the name of that was.
Yeah,
but
that's
weird.
what it got. That's
Yeah.
what it kind of.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm not a fan of Hour of the Wolf. I'm not a fan of any of the brand new fiction that's come out. I honest to God, I wish, and I know you love the clans. I wish we could just get the fuck away from clan honor and stop having it in every single book because it's weird. It's odd. When in the game it makes sense, but when you put written word to it, it's like, why don't you just shoot him in the face? Well, but Zellbringer and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, you've got the Mongol doctrine and they don't give a fuck. But, here we are with Clan Wolf being the most awesome thing in the world. And they keep trying to sell
They are.
cool things that aren't cool, right? And they keep trying to sell Clan Honor as this super cool thing, but it doesn't fit the universe as far as I'm concerned.
But my Wolf Dragoons.
I don't
Wolf
know.
Dragoons are
I-
cool.
But they're still Clan Wolf.
My whole thing on Hour was really just that it really was a slog. I mean, you had even prepared me for it before
Yeah.
I read it. Like, it's a slog.
It's a
but
slog. Yep.
it certainly, to your question, I agree with James. It's not a starting point. It's not a good starting point,
Right.
right? Because there's too much of a preamble there, and not like a whole lot, but I mean, there's certainly, I'd say at least 2 novellas
Before that.
and maybe perhaps, I don't know, only because I'm a super grognard about it, maybe 6 books that you should read. So 2 novellas and 6 books that you should read before you endeavor on that slog. But again, as I couldn't shut up about for like days on end, the last few pages of that book, or at least the confrontation between Devlin Stone and Alaric Ward, like that whole section. It's kind of like the Blair Witch.
Do we want to put out a spoiler warning right now?
No,
Yes.
there's no need for a spoiler warning. They have a confrontation. Like,
Well, I mean,
They-
if
they-
anybody,
If you're gonna get into
They-
specifics, but
right.
you know.
But it definitely was like the Blair Witch Project when it came out.
Yeah.
It's like I just sat through all this shit. Yeah, but the last 30 seconds are so fucking worth it. And then some people were like, yeah, it really was. Other people were like, no, it wasn't. Some people were like, it wasn't really though. Hour of the Wolf was kind of like that for me. It was like the Blair Witch, you know? Like, I just fucking sat through this slog that shouldn't have been that long. I didn't need all those details, you know? I didn't need those moments where, hey, Mech Warriors, or hey, Tankers, I'm Alaric, and you guys
Yeah.
did great. You're eating at my dinner table tonight.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. You know, I don't give a fuck.
What I'm
But
I
when
could-
those two started talking, it was like, whoa! I had to reread that like 3 times because of how goddamn good it was. Pardo did a fantastic job with that section.
and he does do really good books. Not Twilight of the Clans. What was that one that I told you to read that was actually the finish of Twilight of the Clans?
Oh, Forever Faithful.
Forever
That book
Faithful.
was the
That's a
shit.
fantastic book.
Yeah.
But there's so much leading up to Forever Faithful that it's not a good starting point. But it is a damn good book.
I will tell you this though. So we're doing a really good job of telling you what books not to. And there's only a few of them, in my opinion, so far. There's a handful of
Country?
books that you really shouldn't. Yeah.
No, yeah, Far Country.
But if you want to talk about books perhaps written by Pardo that would be good to read, even if you'd never read before, I am maybe, I don't know, 50 pages or 40 pages away from being finished with Measure of a Hero by Pardo. And it is hands down probably the best book next to Forever Faithful that Pardo has, that I've read, that's been written by Pardo for the BattleTech universe. He's got 2 characters in there that are just so well written, so like relatable in both senses. You sympathize for both of them, and unfortunately, they were both thrust into a position where they are enemies, and it is just so well written. It's the Civil War era. Yeah, it's really good.
What's it
Really
called
good.
again?
It's called Measure of a Hero.
measure over here.
Yeah.
So mine is Embers of War, which if you have not read Embers of War, it's on Audible. If you don't have time to read, you can
That's
listen.
good because
you
I
can
have like
listen
a
to it.
bunch of Audible credits that I have to blow through.
It-
So I'm gonna be
it
picking up
is-
books.
It is a fantastic book, and it's written by Jason Smetcher or Smet. Yes, Smetcher.
Smetzer?
Smetzer.
Smuckers.
Smetzer.
Jason Schmesher, if you're listening
Yeah.
to this or watching
Sorry,
this, we
I can't.
apologize
Yeah,
for messing
I'm
up your name.
Terrible with names. Anyways,
Fix it in the credits.
James Butcher of names.
yeah. As far as I'm concerned, they should just give the whole jihad to him, and let him follow the main character that just straight through
Ezra
the jihad.
Payne,
Ezra
Stealthy
Payne,
Tiger
yeah.
Commander, something like
Ezra
that.
Payne.
Yeah.
yeah. I just wish, because it is such a good book, and it's not like one that you have to have all kinds of back knowledge,
Mm.
because it's right there. It's right at the beginning of the jihad, and it is a fantastically written book, and it's damn good. It has a start, a middle, and an end, and it just works.
I think to really answer your question and kind of what him and I are going on is, if you really want to get into BattleTech, and you need or you want to read a book to really dive into BattleTech, the lore is just so long, right? It's just so much history there that realistically you should just pick up a box set and read like the primer, like this is BattleTech.
Yeah,
or
I was
BattleTech
about to talk about the
And then
primers that's in
pick
there, and
what
then
sounds interesting to you, and then any book that is near the beginning of an era that's a really good book for you. So yeah, like Decision at Thunder Rift, the Way of the Clans and the Warrior series,
Warrior and Guard. That's a good
the
place
Blood
to
of
start.
Kerensky series. For Civil War, something like Measure of a Hero or Flashpoint, the one that I read right before it by Coleman, Lauren L. Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
My God, that book was the shit. Like, I think they're like books 6 and 7 in the Civil War era, something like that. You get through those, and I was just not really impressed with much of them. But then I read Flashpoint and was blown away, and then I start reading Measure of a Hero and was blown away again. Ghost War by Stackpole for the Dark Age. I think those are all really good books. If you just want to get in, pick an era that sounds interesting to you, and
though I would not
somewhere
say I would say like for 3025 ISK, I would start with Warrior and Guard.
Yeah.
I wouldn't start with Thunder Rift because there's so much in that book that if you start there, you're like, well, none of this makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, okay, so you should read something else.
Yeah,
I
mean,
mean,
On Guard
And
has
go
some
and then
fewer
go
bits of that.
back to this Decision at Thunder Rift.
Yeah.
I have an interesting perspective on that. I've not read like barely any BattleTech books. Most of the knowledge that I have about the franchise and about the history and the timeline, I've just picked up through playing video games that pertain to it. Like I know a lot about the Civil War era from playing MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries, for example. And I've just picked up these things over like just years of being a fan. The first book I read, like Phil, was Decision at Thunder Rift. It's a little wonky. If you know how BattleTech kind of works and kind of the feel for it, if you understand that it was an early book, it's okay. But like it is a little wonky and a little clunky to kind of get a good understanding of like how the BattleTech universe works. But I will also echo the Warrior series. Like anytime you ask this question on any forum, consistently, at least in my experience, the series that like really, really pops up is like Twilight of the Clans, Blood of Kerensky, and especially the Warrior trilogy.
The Warrior trilogy is just so fun. I mean, you get the gamut of classic characters. I mean, they're all in there, and even at one point, they're all talking to each other. It's freaking cool. You get that pre 3039. You're still in the 3025 era feel of everything, but it's just really fun. Yeah. It's really cool stuff.
I mean, granted, you have a Decision of Thunder Rift, the one thing that annoyed me so much. And granted, I listened to it on Audible, right? So in there,
Product placement.
yeah, the gal,
We are not sponsored by Audible.
no, or by anybody.
Though I probably should be if you've seen my Audible library.
It's pretty big, but
It's the first time I've ever heard
the gal that screams all the time, she reminds me of Frau Bo. She's just always yelling Amuro, Amuro, and in this case, it's just Gray. I feel like that was.
You need to watch Zeta, by the way.
I will. Does it get worse?
No, oh no, Zeta's what.
Because I mean, I'm watching Original Gundam right now, and I hear just a lot of Amuro.
Look,
Yeah,
and
dude.
Original
I'm
Gundam-
having flashbacks now.
Original Gundam. I'm not sure that Sunrise and Bandai had a lot of money to do that.
Well, it also was a product of its times. I mean, 79. You know.
Well, I mean, and Zeta was done in 85. The artwork is so much better. The animation is so much better. You still get the wonky, like any time that a mobile suit is on screen, the animations it's gorgeous. They reuse a lot of animations over and over and over again, but it gets really wonky when like a person's on there because it just looks like a paper cutout. but the writing's a lot better. The English translations are not. Some of them are not so good. You're like, wow, that was really awkward. But it is what it is.
Unavoidable for.
It's 1985.
Yeah.
Like, how much do you want here? But yeah, that gets a lot better. They don't scream Amuro a lot.
Now, I don't mean to change like universes completely from BattleTech, but I mean,
Well,
didn't you kind of get that? Didn't you kind of start seeing the quality of the translations? Just the overall quality, at least with what you see in anime here in America after Ghost in the Shell, because Ghost in the Shell was what changed it, wasn't it?
I would say anything that came out after 87, there was a unique rise in English voice acting that obviously revolutionized the way
Right.
Eastern animation is done
And-
comparatively to Western animation.
In that time frame, Eastern animation was seen as, oh, they're just cartoons. There's no like artistic value.
Well,
to them.
that was Western.
No, that was definitely Western.
That's the thing is Eastern animation, Western artists and Western
Oh,
voice
yeah,
actors and
yeah,
people
yeah.
still had that stigma.
Yeah, it
for
was just
Eastern animation.
cartoons. Yeah.
They had that feeling of, oh, they're just cartoons like our cartoons that we make and stuff. It wasn't until things like Ghost in the Shell and in that era that
Anybody that had Steve Bloom
that burgeoning
and,
era of
and
just
Nolan
gonna say-
and Nolan North. I mean,
Yeah.
those two guys, especially in the 90s, I mean, they revolutionized the way anime voice acting was done.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Mark Hamill didn't do anime at that point.
At that point, no,
he was
but
doing
damn good
Mark
voice
Hamill,
acting.
DC
I mean,
stuff at that
I mean,
point.
but the way I would,
Joker, I can't help. I love that.
you know, honestly, when you look back at a lot of Mark Hamill's stuff, he kind of pigeonholed himself in that. I was looking at his IMDb recently, and when it came to voice acting, a lot of his roles were very similar. The Joker, the Trickster,
Yep.
A lot of those characters were all in there. So seeing him do a new role like Skeletor was very interesting.
Yes.
Yes. But it has, you can feel the roots of his Joker voice acting in there, which is not a bad thing by any means for that character, and he definitely makes it his own. But
he might have done it intentionally.
He
That
might have
that
absolutely
been
done
like
it
his
intentionally.
wheelhouse, and he's like, "This is what I know I can do, and this is where I feel comfortable." So-
yeah, but Mark Hamill made the Joker what it is, and
Absolutely, without a
most
doubt.
I would say most everyday models there. Obviously, there's some like Brave and the Bold Batman. The Joker in there is not Mark Hamill. It's somebody else, but it's still very well done.
I'll go out on a limb and say like the animated Batman series, and we're diverging even further.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
It's
it's
fine.
The animated Batman series is probably the most Batman there is.
Yeah.
100%.
I was in third grade when that show was in its prime, and I mean,
so good.
yeah,
Back when Bruce Timm had complete
Yeah.
creative control over Batman. I mean,
Kevin Conroy. Bruce
No,
Timm
no,
was
no.
Superman.
No, Bruce Timm
Or-
did the franchise, but Kevin Conroy was the voice of Batman. Don't get me wrong;
Yeah.
he is also, I would say, as iconic as Mark Hamill. But Mark Hamill had live
He had other
action
things,
action stuff going for him, i.e., Star Wars. So Kevin Conroy didn't really have that. He's been voice acting forever, and if you look into Kevin Conroy's other roles, I mean, it's quite impressive because you're like, oh, he did that voice. I didn't even know
he's
that.
done a lot, but he's just not recognized for it,
Right.
yeah.
And that's a really tough thing because it's like when we recognize people who have done Eastern animation voice acting, like Nolan North and Steve Bloom, you know, like they get known for those characters. That's why Spike is such an iconic character from Cowboy
Right.
Bebop, because not only was the soundtrack iconic,
Yeah.
the animation style was iconic, but Steve Bloom made that iconic to me. Like the other characters were great and all, but Steve Bloom and the jazz,
The seatbelts.
yes. So you see, to me, American voice acting has now picked up in popularity after the 2000s, but in the
Right.
in the 90s, that's when
It-
I think you started to see that turn.
It got better.
Yeah.
It got better. However, recently, within the last since like 08, it's become from it's went from, you know, anime nerds and things like that. It's become more mainstream, and as it's become more mainstream, the voice acting has gotten, the performances have
Yes.
they've gotten better,
Well, and you've seen a lot more,
because now it's an actual profession.
Yeah,
right?
talent
versus back in the
Gotten deeper.
90s, it was a really hard profession to get into, so not very many people
Oh,
did
absolutely.
It was mainly
Well,
a hobby.
and granted,
it. Well, I mean,
For-
you know, Mark Hamill, Steve Bloom, they made careers out of it, and
Yeah.
you know, they still get money from the voice acting that they did. But unless you were a Disney voice actor,
I was about to say, I was like
you're
between
not getting paid shit.
between Pixar and DreamWorks.
Mhm.
I mean, they put regular actors into voice acting roles and
Yeah.
made it way more popular. And I'm honestly surprised you don't see Steve Bloom in some of those
Yeah.
motion pictures in those aesthetics. But maybe
I'm sure that's just not something he wanted to do.
Maybe.
He didn't. He probably did not want to get. I've never heard him speak on it, but I'm sure he just didn't want to get in bed with Disney, which is
Don't blame him at this point.
do not blame him.
Look
no.
at ScarJo.
And he's worked Marvel stuff before. He was Wolverine in X-Men First Class, I think, the cartoon series.
Yeah, a lot of the
And he's-
Fox
Fox special stuff,
which
yeah.
were ironically enough, those were all Eastern inspired animation styles
Yeah.
for
Right.
Western animation. Which,
Right.
granted, I mean, growing up with those cartoons like
The Uncanny X-Men.
Uncanny X-Men
Yeah.
or Wolverine and the X-Men, I mean, all those are in super great roles. I mean,
But now you get like people like Todd Havercorn and
Yeah.
those people. That it's like, wow, I did not know voice acting could be that good, and that's where we're at now. That's and that's a lot of where a lot of the argument between like sub and dub comes into play. Is like back then, was the dub better? Not really.
right.
But nowadays, and
Well,
unfortunately,
when I look at some of like the anime that I grew up watching, like Rurouni Kenshin, definitely like the height of English dub for that era. Outlaw Star, definitely one of my favorite dubs.
Yeah, mine
like
too.
I can't watch Outlaw Star in Japanese. I can't watch Rurouni Kenshin in Japanese. I
need
cannot watch Dragon Ball in Japanese. I just cannot do it.
It's all the
No,
Adult Swim,
it's
or not
just
Adult Swim.
screaming.
Anything on
Toonami.
Cartoon Network or Toonami, yeah.
Oh, the Toonami run.
Yeah, I can't handle Japanese screaming. Sorry.
I actually really did enjoy Samurai Champloo in Japanese.
Yeah.
The artwork,
But it was-
the
but-
stories,
Japanese.
just
But that one comes. I will say,
Yeah.
Samurai Champloo wasn't the '90s; it was the 2000s,
No,
right?
yeah,
So
it
like,
was, it
so
was,
like
but
the
still, it's
pinnacle
just,
of sub versus dub. I mean, and there's that argument too, like where like because we're not Japanese at all, we don't recognize bad Japanese voice acting.
Yeah.
But now,
That's a huge
Watch
thing.
yeah.
watch enough of it, and you're like,
right when
"Holy
you watch
shit."
it, when you watch enough of it, like old Japanese voice acting was fairly okay because that was the norm and the regular.
yeah.
But then you look at it today, and you can go back and watch some of the, like watch some original Dragon Ball or watch some first season Dragon Ball Z in Japanese, and it's rough.
It's all about exposure. Like you can recognize the quality that's put into it, or like how the characters have refined, or the voice actors have refined the characters
Yeah.
over time. You can recognize that even just by watching it little bit by bit, or comparing two different times or eras of the same show.
Yeah. So I always found that interesting.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, especially with the rise of more iconic stylized video games, I mean, voice acting is even more prevalent there. And I mean, there's no deny that there's a lot of Eastern influence in video game creation as a whole.
Yeah. It's a pretty good place to end it, though.
I think
It is
so.
actually. That was a really good place.
So,
So many
guys, this is
freaking-
this.
so many freaking rabbits everywhere from this rabbit trail we went on. Sorry.
They're humping everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Hope you guys enjoyed this.
Yeah.
This was fun. This is just us being fun. We're nerds, as I'm sure you guys can tell if you've made it this far in. But except this first video, there'll be more later on. Hopefully, I'll have a battle report up next week at some point. Like I said, this one should go live Saturday-ish.
Works for me.
But yeah, you guys have a good night, I guess.
That's all. We're out of ammo. This is Maximum Dakka Reloaded. We'll reload and see you next time.